It's Can you believe it? King Bad God. Oh. I see that, JR. It's triggered. It's Johnny. It's Drew. Can you believe it? It's going to be a slobber knocker. As they say, anything can happen on WrestleLost. Welcome to WrestleLost, folks.
Ah, yes, she's dead as here. It's the WrestleLost to be cast.
The sniper.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to WrestleLost. I panicked for a little bit there while the whole countdown was happening because it wasn't showing me on my phone that we had gone live, but at the very last second it did. So welcome to WrestleLost, everybody. And we're going to talk a lot of shit today, plus we're going to do a watch-along on a random WrestleTalk video that popped up. I knew that was going to happen. Of a random WrestleTalk video that popped up while we were at work today. They're WrestleMania 41 predictions, which is a long way off, so it got me off guard, but I thought it'd be funny to watch it.
Yeah.
So we're going to do that. But to get it started, like always, here's Johnny.
So, okay, WWE, they're continuing to distance themselves from Vince. As I mentioned last week, saying Vince on the show is no longer allowed. It's considered a dirty word now. Not only that, but now they're actually distancing themselves from the term sports entertainment.
Hmm.
Now they've gone back to using the term pro wrestling, which is something that Vince, for some reason, there is a reason, but he came up with the term sports entertainment, and it was actually a way back in the late 80s for him to get around paying taxes in some of the states that had back in the day when they used to have wrestling commissions along with the boxing commissions. So if they were in a state like, say, like New York or New Jersey, they wouldn't have to abide under those rules from the athletic commissions because, hey, they're not actual sport. They're not wrestling. They're sports entertainment. But now that they don't answer those, well, I guess they still do have to answer the athletic commissions, but that was a Vince thing to call it sports entertainment. So pro wrestling is back.
Hell yes.
Not only that, but Nick Khan has mentioned that he wants to collaborate with other companies as well, which we've already seen with Jordan Grace being in the Rumble, and Charlie Dempsey and Shayna Baszler were on Josh Barnett's Bloodsport in GCW on WrestleMania weekend. And also, Stephanie opened WrestleMania night 2, which that was good to see her back. Not sure if she's officially back in the company yet, but they say she's always welcome to come back. But that's good to see, especially because she was one of the executives that were named in that lawsuit.
Yeah. And I know some people were like, why would you put someone that's involved in a lawsuit on screen, especially knowing what the lawsuit is? But we don't know all the details. We don't know how much involvement there was or what they're actually, air quotes, accusing her of. I don't know what other way to put it.
And she's only named in the lawsuit. She's not she wasn't sued herself.
Yeah. That's why I said we don't know what they're accusing her of, if they're even accusing her of anything.
Yeah.
Like, she could be named for many different reasons. So we're just going to have, which haven't been disclosed. So we're just going to have to wait and see.
Yeah. But again, WWE's trying to rid themselves of anything Vince related. He sold some more stock, which they're saying he only has now about, I think they said only 8 million shares left. I mean, it sounds like a lot, but he had like, I think at one point over 200 shares, 200 million shares at one point.
Damn.
So, yeah. So as soon as he sells off those remaining shares, that's it. He has nothing left.
Well, I mean, from the sounds of it, he's selling them off rather quickly.
Yeah.
So I would say give it a month, maybe.
So we're gonna go in further about WrestleMania later, but I just wanted to give some stats real quick because WrestleMania ended up being the highest grossing WrestleMania weekend for WWE. A lot of it was surpassing even last year's WrestleMania. They had the highest gate for 2 nights of 145,000 plus. The SmackDown before Mania had the highest gate. The Raw after Mania had the highest gate ever. The WrestleMania WWE World was the highest grossing WWE event in history. And I mean, it lasted for 5 days. So, yeah, so a lot of people went through that. Cody Rhodes, just in merch, Cody Rhodes sold over $1 million a Mania weekend, which is not surprising there. Even The Rock made some records. The Rock became only the second wrestler to main event WrestleManias in 4 decades. The 90s, 2000s, 2010s, and 2020s. So I'm gonna do a little reverse stunt the brain here. You know who was the first to main event in 4 different decades?
The first to main event in 4 different decades.
Yeah, The Rock was the second.
Oh, fuck. The first to main event in 4 different decades.
So talking about the 90s, 2000s, 2010s, and 2020s.
Main event. Fuck. There's a couple of names in my mind that I'm like just cycling through. Now I know how you feel, and I don't like it. So there's a couple of names cycling through my head.
Yeah.
And I don't know which one to say. Okay. I'm going to go with the one that just popped in my head first.
Okay.
Because by main event doesn't mean he was like in the actual match. Or do you mean that?
Yes, he was in. He had to be in the actual match.
In the actual main event.
Yes.
Oh, fuck, that changes things. that throws my person that I thought out. I'm just going to go with that person because fuck it, even though I don't think it's right, but oh well. You know me, I'm not good at on the spot shit. So I know I'm wrong. Taker.
Yeah.
What?
Yes.
I was right?
Yes.
The first person that popped in my mind was Taker. I'm like, it
Y-
sounds right.
You know what his 2020 match was?
Now
In
we're
the decade of 2020s when he main evented?
no, that I can't think of it.
It was his Boneyard match.
Ah, right. The AJ's. I had a feeling because, like, in my mind, as soon as you said it, it was like Taker. Yeah, the Boneyard
Yes.
match. The Boneyard match. Yeah. Shit, I was right. Hell, there's a first for everything.
Yeah. So a couple more stats. The Rock actually got a nice bonus that he got in his contract after Mania weekend. He got they gave him about $9 million in stock for a bonus. Yeah.
I mean, does he really need it? No, but
No,
he earned it. If they think he earned it.
he kind of did. But Roman Reigns became uh, the wrestler that had the most Mania main events, passing up Hulk Hogan with Hogan had 8 and Roman Reigns now has 9, but that's thanks to having a 2-night WrestleMania where he was part of the main event for both nights.
So I was trying to look up something, but I'm not succeeding.
Oh.
So I'll just forget it for now.
So WWE, they've had a few signings as well in the last couple weeks. Julia was spotted in the crowd at NXT Stand and Deliver, along with Ross Agawa, who used to be Rossi Ogawa. He used to be the head of Stardom. He left that, or he was fired a couple months ago. And he's actually looking to start his own promotion, which Julie is going to wrestle for. Also, William Regal's in the crowd as well with them, which they said Regal was a big part in getting Julia in WWE.
Good move.
Yeah.
Very good move.
Also, there was word that Jacob Fatu has signed with the company as well. And we also got another signing, which we'll get to later on.
Yes, we will. I have things to say.
Yeah. And that's as far as I have for the early news. Since it was the week after Mania, all the news was about the not the backlash. What's the word I want to use?
Let's just say
fallout.
the after effects.
The fallout of WrestleMania.
Fallout. There you
Which
go.
really was, which you can't really call it a fallout because it was actually a good WrestleMania.
Yeah.
It was
Fallout just sounds right.
It was probably the best WrestleMania.
Yeah. Let's just say it's the best Fallout ever.
Yeah.
For now.
And
Future Manias, we'll see what happens.
yeah, because now, and that's another thing too. A lot of things, most times we heard this week, we're now in the Paul Levesque era.
Hell yeah.
Another sign that they're getting rid of Vince, the Paul Levesque era, or the PLE.
There you go. It makes sense. Funny how things work out, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
they could still call it PLE.
Yeah. So we'll talk more about Mania later on.
Yeah. But speaking of future manias, segue into our video we're going to react to, because this is something that popped out to me while we were at work. And immediately I thought, hell, this is what we're going to watch during lunch. But then I decided to hold off because I thought it would be better to do a live reaction to it. So here's WrestleTalk's video. Their predictions for WrestleMania 41. Way too early of a predictions, but this is their way of saying it as well. So I'm going to go ahead and get into it.
Video here on WrestleTalk, where today we are going to be predicting WrestleMania 41, but wait.
I forgot that I had that muted.
You paused it when you said wait.
Yeah, I had it muted because I didn't want audio to leak through too early, but here we go.
Hello, and welcome to this special video here on WrestleTalk, where today we are going to be predicting WrestleMania 41, but way too far in advance. Here's how it's going to work. I'm joined by Luke today. Hello. I'm joined by Ollie.
Hi.
Each of us have booked a 10-match card for WrestleMania. So a night one,
41.
WrestleMania 41 specifically. And the first 5 of our picks will be our night 1 card, culminating with the 5th one being the night 1 main event. And then the second 5 are going to be the night 2, culminating with the night 2 main event. There probably will be other matches on WrestleMania. Typically they'll have, 13, 14 matches, but we've gone with the 10 biggest that we think there might be. Luke's on this show, so we're going to have some weird choices.
What do you mean? I booked nothing but sensible matches.
You'll book CM Punk versus Scott Steiner.
Which changed.
That's been settled. Punk wins.
So I'm beginning WrestleMania 41 with a World Heavyweight title match. The champion, Gunther, against Chad Gable.
Oh!
Ooh, very nice.
Okay. I have a multi-man epic fest IC championship of Jey Uso versus Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens versus Chad Gable versus Bron Breakker versus Malachi Black.
Ooh!
Under contract with AEW until 2027 is a bold choice.
Oh yeah, because AEW never release people now before the ends of their contracts.
After all that negative news, do that again.
Think of all the footage they could release.
All right, quick pause. For some reason, I don't know if you had said anything, but did you mute yourself?
I did. Not anymore.
I was like, why is he muting himself? If that's what you want to do, but I was reacting to it, and so they could hear me if they wanted to as well.
Oh, no, I had mine up. It's just that I said something and you didn't respond, so I thought you muted yourself.
Oh, no.
Okay.
All right, let's continue.
All right.
I have gone for Rhea Ripley versus Bianca Belair for, I can't remember the name of Ripley's belt, so I've written the Women's World Heavyweight
that's right.
Championship, but the Women's World Championship
That's right, yeah.
in a title versus streak match.
That's great.
Bianca Belair putting her WrestleMania streak on the line against Rhea Ripley's 2-year title reign.
I really like that.
Yeah.
That has epic stakes. Ripley and Belair.
The emotionality of that one
Yeah.
is pretty high.
And they're also, this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't know what's happening with Chad soon. Might be turning heel, I don't know. But even if he does, turning babyface again, it'll be fine. And he can dethrone Gunther for the world title in the opener of Mania 41. The big emotional high point of the night will be right at the start.
I don't think it's a world title picture story.
I do.
Compared to the rest of the card, I think Chad Gable, as much as I love him, there's just bigger star power that need to be there.
Triple H is going to try and make some new stars. I think Chad Gable might be one of the people that he tries to push into that top echelon.
I'm with Pete on this one. I think you can spend the rest of this year making Chad Gable into your new Kurt Angle.
Make him wrestling machine Chad Gable.
Well, I think he needs to win the IC championship first before he goes into the world title
He can do
picture.
that in the
Oh,
year.
I've just seen that Jey Uso's your IC
Oh yeah,
champ.
Jey Uso's
Yeah,
the
so
champ.
Jey Uso's the champ going in. To be honest, I just wrote that down. Bron Breakker just has a great showing, but doesn't get pinned. Malachi Black, well, he isn't going to get pinned, is he?
So Chad Gable's taking the pin? Is that what you're saying?
Chad Gable's winning.
Oh, okay, right. Who's taking the pin?
probably Sammy.
I'm stunned this is not a ladder match.
Yeah, right.
I know. I really wanted it to be a ladder match. We just had a 6-team ladder match, and it was
A
just
year
the
prior.
I was
referee.
going to say, yeah, you're saying we've just had one, but it is a year later.
You know, a hot shot.
You're not booking it for next week's Raw.
You know, we had a ladder match at Mania 31 and Mania 32, right? That's just a thing.
I
that
consider
happened.
that overkill.
Bullet Club of AJ, Finn Balor, the Good Brothers, and Tama Tonga versus LIJ of Andrade, Dom, Damian Priest, Carlito, and Roosh with Jose the assistant.
There wouldn't be LIJ though. We'd take out the J part, right? It's just Los Ingobernables.
It'll be LIW. Los Ingobernables to WWE.
Bianca Belair versus Jade Cargill.
Nice.
No title, just straight up, who's the more muscly?
Big multi-person ladder match for the United States Championship. Andrade as the champion, going in against Kevin Owens, Santos Escobar, LA Knight, Dragon Lee, and Daniel Garcia.
Oh!
Yeah, big multi-man ladder match.
I like how ambitious we're being with our AEW picks.
Yeah.
Jose the assistant.
Not Roosh.
I'll be
Jose the assistant.
I've got Roosh in there.
Yeah, no,
in
I'm
there.
saying no, that's not the controversial pick.
Yeah.
Jose the assistant. That's WWE. That's crazy.
AJ has
Maybe
now turned heel.
release.
We're splitting up Judgment Day. They're probably not going to be around by next year. So
Okay.
Balor's going to align with AJ, and they're going to convince the Good Brothers to kind of like Balor will be the glue that brings the Good Brothers back towards AJ. Tama Tonga is going to be involved in this rather than any bloodline stuff.
Wow.
Andrade appears to be like forming potentially his own little group. And within that, he's going to make amends with Dom. Obviously, he faced him at this year's WrestleMania.
So Dom's going to be a face.
Well, who said their faces?
Well, you said that they're the heels. You said Bullet Club were the heels.
Well, you know, it's a new era. So,
Cross the line.
you ever heard of Shades of Grey, Pete?
Yeah, all right.
And then you got Damian Priest,
Yeah.
Carlito, who's already looking to turn heel, and Roosh.
And
Jose the assistant.
Jose the ass.
Well, that's
is what
I
you
Jose
ran
said.
the
out-
ass.
I ran out of space.
Jose the ass. Priest
Great.
gone from world heavyweight champion to a multi-man filler match.
Oh, filler match?
Well, I think this is going to have Snoop Dogg on commentary.
I was going to say there'll be celebrity involvement in this one.
Sponsored by Gin and Juice. No, it'll be the CEO of Dude Wipes. He'll be the guy on commentary for this one, because this is a Dude Wipes match.
Anything to add for that?
Not
For yours?
really. It was set up in the Royal Rumble, and then they teamed together at WrestleMania 40, and I think this is a story they can tell over the course of the year for the battle of ultimate supremacy at WrestleMania.
A lot of people and ladders. There you go. That's the match. Daniel Garcia, his contract is actually up in this year, in 2024.
okay.
And it said, like, I'm just looking to make myself be as valuable as possible and all that stuff. So chances are he'll probably re-sign. But in case he doesn't, I think this will be really fun to have him show up here.
Would you have him win?
Yeah, I would.
Who's the
Bit of
champion?
fun.
going in?
Andrade.
Andrade.
I think that makes sense. He's good.
Middle of the card here. It's a Raw Tag Team Championship match.
Interesting.
The Creed brothers are in it after a good year of being built. Wow, they're good. Champions the Hardy Boys
Okay.
and the Wyatt family
Ooh.
of Uncle Howdy and Braun Strowman.
Very nice.
Okay.
It is a World Heavyweight Championship match as champion Gunther defends against Drew McIntyre and Sheamus
Run it back.
in a rematch
Nice.
of their Mania 39 match, now upper level to the World Heavyweight title.
That's pretty cool.
These are good picks, Luke.
Thanks, bud.
I was expecting nonsense.
World heavyweight.
What are you talking about? H-E-A-V.
Why?
Wait.
Well, it's either world heavyweight
Yeah.
or world heavyweight.
Well, you know, it's a new era. They have to rename the belt sometimes.
Women's world heavyweight title match. Rhea Ripley, still the champ, versus Bayley.
Yeah. Still the
Bit of fun.
champion.
Still the champ. Yeah. You know, Bayley had a feel-good moment this year. Do it again. For next year.
But she loses as well. Rhea Ripley can just beat horsewomen
Yeah.
at Mania.
Oh, I like that. Yeah.
That's quite fun,
streak,
actually. Yeah.
Well, there's
Interesting.
one person she hasn't been in at WrestleMania. Charlotte beat her, didn't she?
Yeah, she did. Mania 36.
Yeah, but then she beat her last year.
Yep.
Oh, crap.
Yeah.
Oh, that's going to undermine one of my... I forgot about that one. It's when she won the belt,
How
right?
the title reign began. Yeah.
Fudge. Fluff. The co-main event of night one.
Well, let's pump
Oh,
brakes
it's the bathroom break.
for the Raw tag team titles.
Uh-huh.
It's a fatal 4-way between the champions, Braun Breaker and Baron Corbin, versus Imperium, versus New Day, versus Sami Zayn and Jey Uso.
Right, okay.
nice.
Okay.
Yeah, they reconcile because I really love them as a tag team for the very brief time they were together on the same page. And then they can win the tag titles here. I think that'd be a really nice moment.
You can tell that this is not me that's written that down because I would have put down versus Kevin Owens and Jimmy Uso.
Oh, I should have done that. That's
so
really
good.
stupid. I love it.
So silly.
Yeah.
Right, well, just remember this one. Because my other women's title match isn't going to tell the kind of story I wanted it to.
Yep.
For the SmackDown Women's Championship, Becky Lynch as champion, defending against Tiffany Stratton.
Oh, good.
Where the
card.
thing would be Stratton wins. Revenging the Becky Lynch beating her for the NXT Women's Championship.
No titles, no stipulations, no gimmicks. Cody Rhodes versus Dustin Rhodes.
I thought about doing this, but I feel like they have done the match. And there's no way it will be better than that match.
But you haven't done it at WrestleMania, which is the WWE.
Very true.
Cody needs to be in a bigger slot.
It's co-main event.
All right, German Dan.
I think that'd be really cool.
It would be
Yeah.
nice, but you know, it's a B pay-per-view.
We
main event.
all could have gone for safe picks. Sometimes you got to swing for the fences. But I like the idea of elevating Tiffany up the card. Also, as well, you're right. Like the NXT Championship thing, I think it's got some nice like history behind it.
100%.
And Tiffany never beat Becky to avenge that loss. And it's weird to think of people like Becky and Charlotte and Bayley. They are the veterans now.
Yeah. 100%.
So you need these Strattons or Perez's and I guess Ripley and Belair and Cargill to be the next main stars.
Yeah, I like that a lot. I think
Tags,
that's,
innit?
it's a fun one. Braun Breaker and Baron Corbin.
Yeah. I think that'd be really cool. Bron can get caught up in the draft, bring Baron back with him, and then they just run through the tag division.
It almost feels like a step backwards for Sammy's trilogy of Manias.
But you don't know the story going into this. It's the most compelling, incredible story you've ever seen.
Co-main event Jey Uso.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, what is the story?
It's really good though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like really emotional, like playing on the whole bloodline history.
Yeah.
Be really cool. Yeah.
Yeah, but I won the tag team titles in the main event with my best friend forever, Kevin Owens.
Yeah.
And the year after that, I ended Gunther's Intercontinental streak. I won the single mid-card title. And this year, I'm going to win the tag team championships again.
Yeah.
I'm one
with
of
this guy.
I'm one of 5 teams in a match.
With found family. Come on now.
That's emotional, but it's a step backwards. Let's be honest.
It's a step backwards emotionally. Main
The
event.
Main event.
Main
Night
event
one.
of night 1 of WrestleMania 41. For the head of the table. The Rock versus Roman Reigns versus Jey Uso.
Ooh.
Bonkers that Jey Uso was not more involved in this storyline this year, so I'm putting him back into it, and he's going to be the head of the... Well, going to go for it at the very least.
That's a nice way to elevate Jey even more.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. It's a main event. Come on, guys. CM Punk. It's CM Punk fighting champion Drew McIntyre. After ruining each other's WrestleMania moments for WrestleMania 40, we get the singles match here.
Lovely.
I was going to have
good.
Drew win the title from Priest at Clash at the Castle and hold it until here.
It's The Rock versus Roman Reigns in a Bloodline rules match. There's their extra shenanigans.
So a hardcore match.
Yeah. But like they've set the bar now that you're gonna get cameos, you're gonna get nonsense, and there's gonna be more of it in this.
Well, that's where you could have John Cena as the special guest referee.
Right.
Stone Cold can make an appearance.
And then you get all the people from like Bloodline's history come out. You get special appearances from Rikishi, and then you get Jay and Jimmy and Solo and like everybody that's been involved in Bloodline related things.
You can do this main event without a title.
Yeah.
100%.
That was kind of my thinking behind it, was that you don't need the belt on this. And I know you talked about this on the rest of the podcast review of Night 2. Still kind of like my idea of doing Rock versus Roman as the first episode of Raw on Netflix. Which Pete then weirdly said, you don't need to book anything big for that show.
I don't care about their business. It's just an episode of Raw.
There's no ratings anymore.
Yeah, who cares? They've done their deal. They made their money.
I really like both of these.
I think that'd be real
So
fun.
you're not main eventing Night 1 with any Bloodline stuff?
No.
Sounds like it might be night 2, unless it's not on his card at all.
I think the Bloodline's over.
I mean, it's over, as in people like it.
Oh, don't you worry.
So those are all of our night 1 predictions. Before we get into night 2, here's a quick word from this video's sponsor.
Ever dreamt of breaking into the professional wrestling business as a wrestler, promoter, booker, commentator, referee, journalist, podcaster, and course with sus encoder
Of WrestleMania 41. What you're kicking off with? Night 2 of WrestleMania 41. What you're kicking off with? Ollie.
Well, it seemed like the Bloodline were missing from night 1, didn't it? Like any good faction, they've splintered. And the opening match of night 2 in a first blood match for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships is the Tag Team Champions of New Blood, Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga, against the OG Bloodline, Solo Sikoa and Jimmy Uso.
This is so good. You've done NWO and NWO Wolfpack. Yes, I love it.
And it's literally called New Blood as well.
And Rock is playing them off against each other to decide who the supreme team within the Bloodline is.
Love this so much.
For the WWE Women's title, Bianca Belair versus Jade Cargill. Bianca Belair as the champ.
Yeah.
But this time for a title.
In the finals of the tournament, to crown the inaugural Women's Intercontinental Champion, Jade Cargill versus Tiffany Stratton.
Very nice.
A women's mid-card belt.
I feel like we've switched roles. I like that, though. I love the idea of a mid-card
Yeah.
women's title.
Crown Jade in this moment, kind of like we did with the CBS title.
And yours, yep.
It's just Bianca Jade. I think it makes the most sense. And you can crown Jade Cargill when you end Bianca Belair's WrestleMania streak.
And enough said.
Yeah, yours is insane. I can't tell whether I hate it or
but the
love
Bloodline's been so well told over all these years.
Yeah.
Now it's time to go crazy.
Okay, so without spoilers, is Roman on your card?
He is.
Okay, good.
Okay.
But is he in the Bloodline anymore?
He's in the Judgment Day.
So for the second match of night 2, I've gone for an Intercontinental Championship match. The champion, Ilya Dragunov, defending against Keith Lee.
Whoa!
The third in the trilogy of WrestleMania matches. It's Dominic Mysterio versus Rey Mysterio in Hair versus Mask.
Yes, there it is.
Very good.
I like that a lot. Surely now. And Dom gets the win.
Oh, I was going to have Dom lose.
So he loses to Rey Mysterio 3 years in a row.
Yes. Now he has no hair.
What a story.
For the WWE Tag Team Championships, they've renamed them so they're the World Tag Team Championships and the WWE Championships. Champions Logan Paul and KSI taking on LA Knight and his tag team partner Simon Miller.
Oh my god.
The special guest referee, Mr. Beast. And here is how you do the big reveal. Is KSI and Logan Paul are glowing in the ring. LA Knight comes out to confront them. And he says, "You like your YouTube? Well, I've got a YouTube guy to be my tag partner. Yeah, Tube." And he brings out Simon Miller. And Wade Barrow goes, "What?" And Corey Gray goes, "More like what culture?" And out comes Simon Miller. And yeah, somehow along the way, Mr. Beast becomes the special guest referee. This is more my speed of booking.
Yes.
I think this is more what people expected me to book on the show.
I can't even, I'm trying to say something, and I just keep getting drawn to Mr. Beast as the special guest referee.
Sponsored by YouTube.
And I have YouTube in the middle of the ring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Make a great thumbnail face, though.
Wouldn't
It'd
it
be like
just?
him in a referee shirt being like, I refereed at WrestleMania.
I was going to say, yeah.
That'd be
See,
great.
I think they'll go the Netflix path.
Oh,
So
yeah.
it won't be Logan Paul and KSI. It'll be the cast of Stranger Things
Nice. Yes.
versus...
The cast of Love is Blind.
Yes. Yeah. How does Keith Lee make his way over from AEW?
He leaves and then joins WWE.
Keith leaves.
He's done it. So for match 3
Match
of
3.
night 2.
Yep. So this is for the United States Championship. And it is champion Kevin Owens defending against Sami Zayn in Ladder War.
Oh, yes.
That's fun.
Sami Zayn did the top rope brainbuster, which of course he learned from El Generico. Of course, took inspiration from him. This is the match for the marks, where they're just going to bust out all of their Ring of Honor spots.
Yeah, especially after the trilogy of they win the tag titles, then they both went for mid-card belts separately, and now they're fighting for it.
Yeah.
What's Roman Reigns doing? He's been kicked out of the bloodline.
He's in the third match of night 2, apparently.
It's a big match, though, because he has become a tag team with Seth Rollins.
Oh!
They will be facing the team of Randy Orton
No.
and John Cena.
Yeah, there it is! I thought it might have been. Yes.
Baby faces versus baby faces. Just who are the dominant team?
I kind of hate it.
I kind of love it.
And I kind of love it. Yeah.
It's like Rock and Foley versus Evolution.
Yeah, that's great.
In an I Quit match, Damian Priest versus Finn Balor.
Ooh.
Judgment Day splitting up shortly before Mania, maybe around Rumble or Chamber, and then they have the big blow off to decide who, Damian Priest I think will be the babyface in this one. He will splinter off, and or maybe with the I Quit stipulation, it's to decide who stays in the Judgment Day. If you say I quit, it means you quit the Judgment Day.
Keeping that group together for another year.
Why not?
I could give you 5 reasons why not.
They're cool though, Luke, and I like them.
And you get a lot of this. No, that was Irish.
No,
that was
it wasn't.
Irish.
It wasn't.
No.
I like that though.
Yeah, it's good.
Big blood feud.
Yeah, I think so. The drama curve of your night, I think that works really well.
I would like this to be too long in a good way. Like all the other matches, like as we saw on WrestleMania 40, they're roughly around the 10-15 minute mark long main events. That should be like, even though it's third from the top on night 2, 25 minutes.
Absolutely, yeah.
So Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins. How do they come together to form a tag team?
That wasn't the task.
No, I know.
My task was to book a card.
Oh, I know.
No, it was to predict a card.
There was the idea that Roman has finished his story at WrestleMania 40 as well, not just because of the Bloodline reign ending, but he finally got to hit Seth with the chair and get vengeance. Maybe that has absolved him of all that trauma. And now, next time they see each other, they can go, hey, you want to beat up Randy Orton and John Cena?
I like that, because when they were putting the Shield back together, at least when they were doing Rollins and Ambrose, and you had that moment when Ambrose was really struggling to do the fist bump. That moment when they do the fist bump together would be pretty special.
Yeah. Co-main event.
Co-main event.
Yeah.
I forgot that Ripley had already beaten Charlotte for the Raw Women's Championship. It's heel Charlotte Flair as champion because she would have beaten Rhea at some point on her return. And that would have turned Rhea babyface, and now Rhea's going for the title again.
I've got, for the Women's Intercontinental Championship, the champion Asuka against Kairi Sane, Dakota Kai, and Io Sky.
Nice.
A damage control implosion match.
Yeah.
For the WWE Women's Championship, champion Bayley defends against Io Sky, Asuka, Kairi Sane, Dakota Kai, and Julia in a 6-pack scramble, a 6-pack challenge.
Wow, it just got out of hand, didn't it?
Asuka, she's back.
I know.
So you have 4 people?
Yes,
I have
fatal
2. You had 4, and you've got 6 people.
6
Hell
people.
yeah.
This is the implosion of damage control. Perhaps you can bring Julia straight from NXT. Don't waste her time down there. She doesn't need some time in the Performance Center. All 6 of them vying for the championship. It was originally just going to be 5, but then I added Julia in.
What's happening here? Oh, okay. Versus Julia. Right, okay.
5-way. Why not? I think absolve the women's tag belts. You don't need them. And make it this instead.
I would prefer.
Oh, that's a good idea. I didn't even think of that.
So I think they don't even need to lose the women's tag belts necessarily. It just gets transformed into the Intercontinental.
Kairi and Asuka will fight each other to merge champ. That's a cool idea.
That is the first inkling of there's something deeper here. They're going a bit hard in this match.
That's good. I like that.
Imploding. And Julia, why not?
Ollie.
Yeah, it's a great story.
I mean, Yeah, Rhea can beat her again.
Yeah. But
That doesn't matter.
Charlotte comes back, heel Charlotte. That's what we want. She wins the belt right away. Oh, nothing's changed.
But then Rhea Ripley wins the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, turns her face, even though she's an explicit face now.
For the main event of WrestleMania 41.
Yeah. WWE Championship. None of this undisputed universal nonsense. The WWE Championship. The champion, Cody Rhodes, against CM Punk.
Okay.
Yes.
That's a proper main event for CM Punk.
Oh, yeah. That is CM Punk's WrestleMania main event right here.
For the WWE Universal Championship. Way to ruin that part for me, Pete. The champion, The Rock.
Ooh.
With Nick Aldis in his corner.
Okay.
Versus Cody Rhodes with Dustin Rhodes in his corner.
Very nice.
I have thought, hey, Luke, who is your champion? Champion CM Punk defends the WWE Championship. Again, I've renamed mine.
Yep.
Against John Cena. Title versus Korea. John Cena going for his 17th title win, putting his career on the line, gives CM Punk the proper main event, the WrestleMania main event he never got before he quit initially.
Punk's a heel here, is he?
Oh, 100% he's a heel.
The career
fun.
and going for the record-breaking
17th,
reign.
yeah.
Well, who would you have win, just out of curiosity?
Punk.
Yeah.
Yeah. And have Cena.
Yeah, I would.
I like that.
For me, CM Punk is also a heel. He's turning heel in this process. Goes after Cody. CM Punk wins the Royal Rumble and goes after Cody Rhodes for WrestleMania.
I like that.
That would be real fun.
Because I agree as well. Like, I think you want to give Punk the main event. And I love this idea. Because I think, actually, this, out of everything we've done, this is the one that makes the most sense to me. Because that is, like, Triple H style of booking. Obviously, this WrestleMania sets up the next WrestleMania.
Going into the Netflix era, Rock is champion, and he's all over those shows.
Such a good idea.
And on the go home month, Dustin Rhodes comes in, and he's helping train Cody.
I love the addition of Aldis in there as well, tying into that Aldis Rhodes history.
I think as well, him being like the conduit for the Rock's thing. So Rock doesn't have to be on every show because you can have Nick Aldis be there, being the stand-in for the Rock if he can't make it for whatever reason. That is really good.
Thanks, bud.
Yeah.
I want that as my night one main event now. Both men are going to get injured in that match.
So I have to put it on last. You give them that extra day. Trying to get their reps in.
I wonder what's like the best card of all of our cards put together.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. So we're going to run down each of our cards just to finalize everything and go through our whole cards one by one. So my WrestleMania 41 begins with Gunther versus Chad Gable for the World Heavyweight Championship, followed by a United States title ladder match of Andrade, the champion, versus Santos Escobar, Kevin Owens, LA Knight, and Dragon Lee and Daniel Garcia, followed by Rhea Ripley versus Bayley for the Women's World title, Braun Breaker and Baron Corbin versus Imperium versus New Day versus Sami Zayn and Jey Uso for the Raw Tag Team titles, The Rock versus Roman Reigns in Bloodline Rules for the main event of Night 1. On Night 2, I have Bianca Belair versus Jade Cargill for the WWE Women's title, Ilya Dragunov versus Keith Lee for the Intercontinental title, Damian Priest versus Finn Balor in an I Quit match, Asuka versus Kairi Sane versus Dakota Kai versus Io Sky versus Julia for the Women's Intercontinental Championship, and Cody Rhodes versus CM Punk for the WWE Championship in my main event of Night 2.
My Night 1 opens with an Intercontinental title match between champion Jey Uso, Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, Malachi Black, Chad Gable, and Braun Breaker. Then it's Bianca Belair versus Jade Cargill. Raw Tag Team title match, Creed Brothers versus champions The Hardy Boys versus the Wyatt family of Braun Strowman and Uncle Howdy. The Women's SmackDown Championship, Becky Lynch champion versus Tiffany Stratton, main evented for the World Heavyweight Championship, Drew McIntyre and CM Punk. Night 2 opens with a first blood match for the SmackDown Tag Team titles. New Blood of Tama Tonga and Jacob Fatu versus the OG Bloodline, Solo Sikoa and Jimmy Uso. A hair versus mask grudge match, Dominic Mysterio versus Rey Mysterio. John Cena and Randy Orton versus Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins. Charlotte Flair heel champion versus Rhea Ripley. And the main event, The Rock as the heel WWE Universal Champion with Nick Aldis in his corner versus Cody Rhodes with Dustin Rhodes in his corner.
Night 1 opens with Rhea Ripley versus Bianca Belair, title versus streak for the Women's World Championship. It's then followed by Bullet Club versus LIJ.
That is the most, Luke.
Yeah. Well, no. I don't think that's true. I think we got another one.
Yeah, we're still to come.
Yeah.
Drew McIntyre versus Sheamus versus Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship. Cody Rhodes versus Dustin Rhodes. And the main event of Night 1, Rock versus Roman Reigns versus Jey Uso for the head of the table. Night 2 opens with the finals of the tournament to crown the first ever WWE Women's Intercontinental Champion, which is Jade Cargill versus Tiffany Stratton. Logan Paul and KSI versus LA Knight and Simon Miller with Mr. Beast as the special guest referee.
That's the most Luke.
I'd already wiped that from my mind. Yeah.
That is followed up by the Ladder War between Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens for the United States Championship, WWE Women's Championship, whichever one the SmackDown one is. It's Bayley versus Dakota Kai versus Asuka versus Kairi Sane versus Io Sky versus Julia. And then the main event for the WWE Championship, CM Punk versus John Cena, title versus career.
That's a mark of sort of the Paul Levesque era. I think we can make quite well-informed choices of long-term storytelling now.
And it turns out in a year, none of us are right. You know?
I don't know, bud. Mr. Beast. It's the one I'm most confident on.
So what did you think of our WrestleMania 41 predictions? Let us know your favorite card in the comments down below, and let us know your predictions for WrestleMania 41. What do you think is going to happen at next year's WrestleMania? Let us know. And if you're new here, like the video, subscribe. Why not? We have loads more content like this. If you like this sort of format, check out TLC, Tables, Lists, and Shares, where we go through a top 10 list of a wrestling category, and we reveal our answers, and it's really fun. It's this sort of format, reveal an answer at the same time. It's real good. Check it out. Thank you, Luke and Ollie, for joining me for this episode. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you soon. Jam that jam! Hey!
Okay, the yelling at the end. I should have known something like that was going to happen. Okay. Before we move on, the only things I want to say about this video is so much AEW involvement in their predictions. I wasn't expecting that. It was pretty damn funny, though.
Like now with saying that that Nick Khan wants to collaborate with other companies, it doesn't even have to be wrestlers whose contracts expired with AEW.
Yeah,
they can still be with AEW, but just it goes along with the theory that I have that I'll come to in a bit.
Yeah, like. As soon as they started saying some of these matches, like I started thinking of things that can happen. And then they got to the match where they were like Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins for the tag titles, right?
Yeah, I thought he was going to say Randy Orton and Jon Moxley.
I didn't go there, but one little tweak that I would do to that match, it is going to make it one-sided, but it would make it fucking badass. Special guest referee, Jon Moxley. Like, you don't even call him Dean Ambrose.
Yeah.
You got to acknowledge who he is now.
Right.
So it would be Jon Moxley as special guest referee. That is the only thing I would tweak on there. But that was they went through a couple of matches that I didn't think they would ever do.
Yeah.
Or that I did not even think. I wasn't thinking Simon Miller, I'll tell you that much.
No.
But yeah. Hey, we could revisit this video a year from now.
Yeah.
Once the card is pretty much wrapped up. And we could see exactly how close or how outlandish they went.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that was a real funny watch. I expected that from them. So, hell yeah. That was pretty cool. So, before we get into the CM Punk conversation, I'm going to have you just kind of wrap up between WrestleMania and the Raw and SmackDown after Mania, and give me your thoughts and what you liked about it and what you didn't like. And my dog is itching to go outside.
Okay.
So I'll be right back.
Well, I'll be honest. Raw after Mania wasn't as advertised as a Raw after Mania. There wasn't really much to it other than the opening promo with The Rock and Cody, where the Rock congratulated Cody on his win, and he actually he asked to hold the title, and he had his People's Champ title, which Cody held. So they switched titles for like a minute, and the fans chanted, "This is awkward," which it kind of was. But what that was playing into was the future match between The Rock and Cody, because The Rock said he was going to be gone for a while. He's leaving to go do some more movies. He's got an MMA biopic he's going to start making here in a couple weeks till August, so we may not even see him till SummerSlam season. So who knows when we're getting that matchup. But there were a few people missing on the Raw after Mania. No Becky Lynch. She was still recovering from. She had strep throat the week of Mania. So going into that match was Rhea. She was banged up. Also, Seth wasn't in the episode. And when they had a main event to see who was going to challenge Damian Priest for the title at Backlash in France, and which was won by Jey Uso. So it'll be Uso versus Priest. CM Punk came out again to help thwart Drew's chances of winning that match, and he gave a speech after Raw went out the air. The only surprises on that Raw were we did see Ilya Dragunov wrestling and Roxanne Perez wrestling, which they may be involved in the draft coming up. So we'll have to see. I guess the funny moment was when Chelsea came back to complain about not being on WrestleMania to Nick Aldis, Ava Rain, and Adam Priest, all the Adam Pierce, sorry, were backstage, all the general managers. So they said, "Okay, go to the ring. You got a match coming up." They put her against Jade Cargill.
Yeah.
And Jade destroyed her.
Yeah.
But other than that, there wasn't really much to the Raw after Mania besides the opening Rock Cody promo and the ending match. But the SmackDown. Oh, did you have something you want to say about the?
Yeah. There's just, before we move on from the Raw after Mania.
Okay.
I don't know if you touched on it because I had to step away with my dog for a second. So if you did, just let me know. The question everybody is asking, each other and themselves, what did The Rock give Cody?
Oh, yeah, I didn't. I covered the promo. I didn't talk about that. So towards at the end of the promo, Rock put something in Cody's hand. The Rock said, "As you don't need to look at it to know what it is." And then he's like, "Don't disappoint me again." And then he walked off. I don't know what it could be. I mean, I've heard a lot of people saying that it's actually a piece of the lei that Roman wore as tribal chief.
Okay.
Yeah.
That could be pretty cool if that's what it is. Kind of as a reminder of what you did.
Yes.
Yeah. The one thing I talked to Andrew about, as far as what I think this could be, something that somehow The Rock got his hands on from Dusty and kind of gave it as a reward to Cody, as a gift for winning the title, you know?
Yeah.
as your dad is proud of you type of thing, you know?
Yeah.
That is what I'm thinking it could be.
Because
But
The Rock did mention how he, Dusty was one of his favorite wrestlers, and
yeah,
his dad and Dusty, they worked together in the past.
yeah. So, like, to be honest, though, I have no clue what it could
Yeah.
be. That is just what I would think. Something involving Dusty.
Yeah, and I'm hoping we'll find out once they start building towards that match.
Yeah, it might be a little bit because The Rock's going away for a bit.
Yeah, yeah. I mentioned that he's going to be gone for a while. He's making that MMA biopic
Yeah,
next month, and yeah.
yeah. So he'll be gone for a little bit. So it'll be a while before we find out what it is. But I'm interested. The one thing a couple of people have said, and I think even Sean said it. I've listened to so much stuff this week that I can't remember all of it. But someone was like, what if it's MJF's ring? And I'm like, ooh, I don't know. Maybe they put that as a surprise. Maybe they kept it a secret just in case if they are able to somehow in the future sign MJF and they could say that it was his ring as a reminder to Cody as to who MJF is and what he is capable of. That is something I think could be very interesting if they decide to go down that route. And there's history between Cody and MJF. So I'm not saying MJF is going to join WWE, but if they do decide to go down that route and sign him, this could be a callback to somehow tie it into having a match and whatnot. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's MJF's ring or if it's something of Dusty's, but we will see what it is. Yeah, that's just a question that's been floating in my mind, and many other people have been having the same issue with that question as to trying to figure out what it is. So I had to throw it out there to see what Johnny thought. And as well
I actually didn't hear any of that because I was talking to my sister.
Oh, I said, like, long story short, as to what I said, a lot of people have been saying, "What if it's MJF's ring?"
Oh,
just in case if WWE ends up somehow signing MJF,
yeah,
they could be like, "Hey, Cody, you remember that reminder I gave you, or that gift I gave you after your win at WrestleMania 40? Yeah, he's here." And that could lead to that rivalry.
So here's the question: where did The Rock get MJF's ring from?
I don't know. It was Mania weekend. Let's just say, oh, okay, MJF was at Wally Mania or something, because the Rock was at Wally Mania.
Yeah,
So they'll come up with a story. And was MJF at Wally Mania? No, I think Wally Mania is too cool for MJF. I don't see, that doesn't seem like a place where MJF would be, but it doesn't need to be there. It could just be the story.
yeah.
I thought that was pretty funny that people were throwing that out there, though.
But like I said, when you walked up, other than that opening promo and the match at the end, the Raw after Mania was pretty much underwhelming.
Yeah, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't the best either. It was your run of the mill
Yeah,
Raw.
I've seen better.
Yeah. The only thing I will say, I need a legit Jade Cargill match. enough with like we saw enough squashes
Yeah,
AEW.
we need the Jade Nia match.
Yeah. We need some sort of match that really does show what she has learned. Because I'm not the only one. I've seen a couple of people put up on Twitter after the matches she had this week that we need to see more. This is
Yeah,
just what we saw in AEW.
and I think we will by next year. And like they were saying in that video, maybe it is Jade versus Bianca, or even Jade versus Rhea. You know,
Yeah. Hell, even a Jade versus Becky Lynch, like Becky Lynch brings out the best in people as well.
yeah,
So
yeah.
either one of those would work. I just need to see something already because we've seen this enough.
Yeah.
I want to see what she can do.
So now on to SmackDown after Mania. Again, a little underwhelming, except for mainly one segment. So refresh my mind. Was Solo in a match,
No.
or did they just come out?
Yeah, they just came out.
Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, I remember they came out. Paul was actually he congratulated Cody himself and was talking about how at Mania 39 Cody took his eye off the ball and that Roman took advantage. But at Mania 40, Roman took his eye off the ball with Seth. Seth Roman wanted to get revenge for 10 years ago when Seth broke up the shoe, which distracted him,
Yeah.
and that's how Cody got the win. But then I think it was Solo, right?
Yeah.
That said that it. I can't remember the exact wording, but it's like no, like it's basically saying it's not a good thing to lose.
Yeah.
And he was mainly talking toward Jimmy Uso.
There
Because,
has to be consequences.
yeah, because Jimmy lost his match against Jay. So outcomes. Well, first of all, Solo attacked Jimmy, and then there was a hooded figure that came from the crowd, and got joined in on the beatdown, and removed the hood to reveal it's newly signed from New Japan Pro Wrestling, Tama Tonga, the son of Haku, which I've mentioned before. The Rock sees Haku as an uncle, so in theory, Tama Tonga is part of the bloodline.
Yes.
And so they just go on this brutal attack on Jimmy. Later on, they show him in the back of the training room. Paul's there. Paul doesn't know why they did that, what's going on. And Solo, I think Paul was about to call Roman Reigns, like he does on his phone.
Yeah.
And Solo smashed his phone.
Yeah. Yeah. So there is no longer a direct line connecting Paul Heyman and Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
Everything has to come word of mouth from either Tama Tonga or Solo.
Yeah. Yeah. And they finished that up by, saying by orders of the tribal chief. So in other words, trying to say that Roman was the one who called that attack.
Yeah. But here's the question, though. Did he really? Or is that just something they're saying so Heyman doesn't question it?
Okay.
I'm just trying to think outside the box a little.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I don't know. I think it could be maybe. I don't know.
because the way I'm trying to picture this, as far as to where it's going, bloodline warfare.
Yeah, I was going to get to that. This is when you bring in Jacob Fatu.
Yes.
Yeah. And
So,
you even bring Jay back in the mix.
yeah. So before I left work, I started talking to Jalen a little bit because we got into it for a little bit, in a fun way, not in a serious way about Bloodline versus Cody Rhodes. So we started talking, and I was like, "What do you think of your new Bloodline member?" And he's like, "I love it, but I would have loved it even more if it was Jacob Fatu."
Okay.
Those are his words.
And at least he knows.
Yes.
A lot of younger wrestling fans, they don't. A lot of not just younger, but the casual wrestling fans don't know Tama Tonga or Jacob Fatu.
Yeah. And this is what I was and this is what I've been talking about and arguing the point on Twitter against people that don't know, but they love to talk. You need to open your mind to watching other companies because you don't know when people from other companies are going to filter their way in.
Because, like we were talking earlier, not only that, Tama Tonga also has another brother in New Japan. He actually has two brothers, but the younger one I think will stay for a while. But the one next to him is Tangaloa.
Yeah.
And I think eventually he'll end up there too.
Yeah. And so whenever I was talking to Jalen, and he's like, "But I would like it to be," and before he even finished his sentence, I was like, "Let me guess, you want it to be Tangaloa," because that connection is always going to happen first.
Yes.
But then he's like, "No, I want a Jacob Fatu," and I'm like, "Oh, nice."
Okay.
See, this is what I like. The way it can go in many different directions, and you don't know.
And then later on down the line, then you bring in Hikuleo. And Hikuleo's could be like the monster of the bloodline.
Yeah.
Because he's like towers over all of them.
Yeah. Because I'm not going to lie, whenever you bring in Jacob Fatu, he is way bigger than anybody else.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
Even solo.
Yeah.
So he can be the dominating force. And maybe it gets way out of hand and they can't find a way to rein him back in. No pun intended.
Yeah.
And that's when you bring in Hikuleo.
Yeah.
It's so good. See, you just gotta love storylines. We can have the Cody storylines and we can have these storylines, but the way it pits people against each other and how some people take it way too seriously. Yeah, just enjoy the good shit.
And if you bring in Tama Tonga with Tangaloa, you reunite within the bloodline the Gorillas of Destiny.
Yes. Yeah. It's all there, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but Twitter has been a very toxic place ever since WrestleMania. So I've spent a good time on there, but I've also tried to spend some time away from it because I don't have all the time in the world to argue with everybody. So, but yeah, I love that they brought in Tama Tonga. It opens the door for a lot of different things to happen.
Yeah.
Within the bloodline, and I'm just excited to see where it's going. And we had a bit of a hint that it could have been Tama Tonga. We knew he was signed.
Yeah.
Didn't know exactly when he was going to show up. But that was a good hint and a good surprise either way. So, yeah, I'm very happy with how that went. And I just need more development. Now that Mania is over with, we need to keep the ball rolling.
And see, this is good that they're doing it like this, especially since Roman is going to take some time off. You
Yeah.
know, I mean, not that he was there a lot anyway, but
Yeah.
you know, we might not see him maybe until SummerSlam.
Yeah. I would say we don't see him until I would say he has to be there at least a month before SummerSlam.
Yeah.
So he can help tie in the story into whatever match is
Right.
going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. Yeah, definitely check your TikTok though, because Andrew sent some about what could probably happen.
Oh,
For, like SummerSlam and the upcoming Survivor Series and stuff like that.
okay.
Yeah, he sent a couple of those, so definitely check it out. But yeah, very, very interesting stuff there with Tangaloa. And we will see what ends up happening with the bloodline.
Yeah.
So
that was your week after WrestleMania, which wasn't all positive.
no.
So now let's switch over to AEW. So this was a decision that was made out of the CM Punk interview with Ariel Helwani, and it was actually made the previous Wednesday because they announced it during Collision, but Collision was taped the Wednesday before because of Mania. You know, they didn't want to lose an audience, so they announced that the Young Bucks announced that they had the all-in footage from London, the CCTV footage from Wembley that they were going to show. So, fast forward to this past Wednesday Dynamite, the Young Bucks were in the back. They cut a promo on FTR, and they were saying they had this footage, which from All In, which was the last time that the Young Bucks faced FTR, and they talked about the people involved. Well, one of the persons, they said that one of the persons was Jack Perry, and I like that they used CM Punk's line against him. That CM Punk once said, "If you have a problem with Jack Perry, then you must be the problem." That's what they were saying about him. About Jack Perry, they called him the scapegoat, which is what he calls himself now in New Japan. So yeah, they showed this footage. It was a couple minutes long. It had no audio. It was very grainy. It was not black and white, but it was Technicolor, so you could barely make out colors. But it had. It showed some behind the scenes stuff. You had, like for instance, towards the end of the video, Malachi Black comes in with a coffee, and Hook it's just like walking through like Hook doesn't give a shit.
Yeah, he didn't even try.
No, and Samoa Joe is back there. Chris Hero, the former Cassius Ohno. He was back there because he's a producer, and it shows Jack Perry walking in the frame. CM Punk's there as well, but you know, I don't even think you see his face because it's the camera's pointing towards the back of CM Punk, so all you see is the 3 X's on his shirt or his hoodie, and you know they start talking, and at one point it seems like they start yelling at each other. And for 6 seconds, CM Punk goes to choke him before they're broken up. And then as CM Punk is walking off, he starts perceivably yelling at somebody behind the monitors, which a lot of people were saying that's Tony Khan. That's when he called Tony Khan a clown, and he said he said, this place sucks, and then that's when he quit. But that was before his match with Samoa Joe, so they talked him out of quitting right there to have a match. And then I mean, I know there was some more stuff that happened after the match too, but they didn't show that footage.
Yeah.
But they did show the footage before the match.
Yeah.
And then after they showed it, the Young Bucks came back and saying, well, because they're EVPs, they had to take care of this HR situation, and that distracted them from their match with FTR. That's why they FTR got the win at All In. So they're pretty much using the footage as an excuse for not being on their game at All In.
Yeah, they use the footage to further the story of that match.
Yeah. Yes.
And to me, the way I see it, I don't know how you completely feel about them showing the video, but I think the positive coming from it is using it for that story.
That's the only thing. That's the only positive. There's was no other reason to show that footage.
Yeah.
CM Punk's not even in your company anymore. We saw by this showing this, we saw petty Tony Khan.
Yeah.
Because from what I've heard, the Young Bucks were against showing this footage, but Tony's the owner, so he's going to do it anyway. So once Tony had his mind made up, then the Young Bucks came through and they started to talk about how can they put this in storyline, going over that. A lot of people have had negative reactions toward this. Some of the even the more WWE marks are saying this could be the beginning of the end for AEW. I don't think so. It's not. No, it's not going to be the end. It's just it was really a ratings ploy, which it worked. They got a higher rating they did the previous week. Maybe not the rating they wanted, but yeah, that's pretty much all it was.
Yeah. To me, the only positive was that of helping further the storyline. Was it the most ideal thing to do? No, but at least they worked it in that way. So that's really the only thing I can say about it. And it pretty much just showed that whatever CM Punk said happened. It is pretty much the way it went down.
Yeah, because CM Punk in that interview pretty much described what happened backstage.
Yeah.
And that video just showed what CM Punk was talking about.
Yeah. It was pretty much word for word what CM Punk said. The only thing that would have made this completely worthwhile in showing is if it had audio.
Yeah.
So we can hear what was said, but I know there wasn't a chance of that happening.
And this happened 8 months ago. So how long has Tony Khan been sitting on this footage?
For a very long time.
Yeah. So this is something he could have just come out with on Twitter after he fired CM Punk.
Yeah. And one of the last things I want to say about it is, so after people saw it, one of the things they started saying is, so this was it. This was the thing that made Tony Khan fear for his life. Because that is what he said.
Well, I heard that was something else that actually
Yeah.
wasn't in the video.
Yeah, and that's what I wanted to say is the moment that made him fear for his life is not that moment in the video. It was something else. But at the same time, you have to see who he's surrounded by. He's surrounded by a room of killers.
Yeah.
You got CM Punk, you got Jack Perry, you got Samoa Joe, you got Hook, you got Malachi Black. That is a room full of people that in one way or another are MMA trained or have some other type of training in real combat sport. So, and then you got maybe a buck 105 soaking wet Tony Khan who hasn't fought a day in his life.
Yeah.
Surrounded by all these killers and psychopaths in a good way. I mean that in a good way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any person in his position with his lack of knowledge about how to actually fight would be intimidated and scared in that scenario.
Especially when things get real.
Yeah. I can handle myself. Like if something were to happen, like let's say we're hanging out, right? We're at a show or something, and something amongst normal people break out, I'm pretty sure I can handle myself.
Yeah, I could too.
That you could handle yourself more than I could.
I'm a black belt.
Exactly. You're a black belt in karate. I'm a black belt in taekwondo.
Yeah.
And I'm a black belt in fucking crazy. So yeah, we could handle ourselves in different ways. But put me in that scenario that Tony Khan was in, I wouldn't know what to do. Either one of them could take me out.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't blame Tony for feeling the way he does because I believe him.
So, if you have anything else to say about that, because that wasn't the only shot that was made at WWE that night on Dynamite.
Yeah, I really don't have anything else to say about it. It was pretty self-explanatory. Like I said, the only thing that helped make it good for me was the furthering of the storyline.
Yeah. So Will Ospreay, he gave an interview with Renee on the stage, and to promote his match against Bryan Danielson at Dynasty. I almost did an Andrew. But mainly what he wanted to talk about was what Triple H, Paul Levesque, had said when he was on the Pat McAfee show about how the reason WWE didn't sign, Okada or Ospreay is because that they can't handle the grind as Triple H called it, and but meaning they couldn't handle the travel schedule because WWE has like 5 shows a week, including TV. They never get time off. But Will Ospreay came out and said that he heard that people were saying that he couldn't handle the grind, but he said that he can because he's out there week after week putting on 5-star matches. I'm getting a call. Hang on.
Yeah, so he's getting all these 5-star matches week after week after week ever since he's come through and signed with AEW. So for Triple H to say something, for Paul Levesque to say something like that, it felt like Will Ospreay had to defend himself because you're saying this man can't handle the grind. But the reason he did that was so he could be able to be there for his family, to not uproot his family from where they live and having to move to the US. So he would rather travel back and forth and put in the hours in whatever way he can instead of uprooting his family and moving them to the States. So you can't really attack a man for wanting to be there for his family. I think that's where Triple H messed up. And it was a pretty messed up thing to say. He said it wasn't directed towards anyone in particular, but it did seem like it was directed towards Ospreay. So whenever he came out with the line of the only reason you are in the position that you were in is because of you grinding on the boss's daughter. Yeah. I myself have backed Triple H on everything he's done, on the changes he's making to WWE, and the positive going into this new era, the era of Paul Levesque. But for him to attack Ospreay that way, and for Ospreay to say that line, which I already brought it up and went through all what Ospreay said. Yeah, I just think Paul Levesque had it coming. You can't attack a man that way.
So let me, because he was saying about Will Ospreay not being able to handle the grind of the WWE schedule. You just signed a guy who just debuted, who was in an organization that doesn't have regular TV. New Japan doesn't have weekly TV. They have shows that they do per month that they air, and they might have three to five shows a month. Okay, so that's his schedule. You know, he wrestled fewer times than what AEW wrestlers do. So you don't think he's going to be able to take it? I think he will.
Oh yeah.
Especially because his dad used to be in that so-called grind.
Yeah. And not only that, like one of the connections we made in this was you attacked Ospreay for supposedly not wanting to do the grind, not wanting to be in WWE for that reason. When your champion didn't defend it many times, it went for months without being defended.
Yeah.
Times. So it's kind of a pointless attack whenever your main champion wasn't even around.
And that's been going on for years because before Roman, it was Brock.
Yeah. Yeah. So as much as I respect Paul Levesque for everything he's doing and for what he will do in the future, I didn't like this attack on Ospreay. So I think it was justified in Ospreay for him to say what he said. And yeah, we just need to watch our words, because it will come back and it will bite you in the ass.
Yes.
It's been proven this week. So yeah, this show wasn't our normal type of show. It was a bit different. We went more with the backstage news and everything that was happening because of that.
Yeah. There's one thing I forgot to mention in the news, and again, I haven't seen the match yet, but John Moxley he beat Tetsuya Naito last night. He's now the new IWGP heavyweight champion in New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Hell yeah.
So I can't wait to see. I want to see him come out with this belt on AEW. I think this is how you let Okada have that title again, even though he's not in New Japan anymore?
Yeah.
Eventually.
There's a workaround.
Yeah.
There's stories to be told.
Yeah.
And these stories are going to happen. But yeah, the willingness to work with each other, no matter what company, it's all badass. So, like I said, this was more of the focus on the backstage and the aftermath and the repercussions of things being said by other people.
That's a better word, aftermath.
Yeah. Yeah. So, either way, one last note before we wrap up here. We have a missing Drew. He had a thing with his daughter that I'm not gonna let out all the details, but we are gonna have a video and we're gonna come at y'all next weekend with that video. Trust me, it's worth it. So yeah. I'm just gonna wrap it up. Like always, if you have any questions or comments, wrestlelost@gmail.com, WrestleLost on Facebook, and don't forget to give us a follow and a sub here on Twitch, on our YouTube page, and on our TikTok at WrestleLostPod. So, hope everybody enjoys the rest of their weekend, and we will talk to y'all later.